Hi Ashutosh, how are you?
I'm fantastic. Thanks for asking. So, now we are here to discuss an interesting topic today, which is very important for all of the spoken English learners. That is feedback. How feedback is important for all those people who are learning English. Because what I feel, of course, I see, even though I have been motivating people for the past 4 years, that speaking comes from speaking comes from speaking, practice, practice, practice. So
Yeah.
now they are very much inclined into the practice, and they do practice on multiple platforms like Sparky, CBS Speakify, or like WhatsApp groups, Skype groups. But second thing, which people are missing nowadays, that
Hmm.
they do not have anybody who is going to correct them and who is going to give them constructive feedback, because
Yeah.
we are repeating the same mistake. What
Yeah.
is your opinion on that? And please let me
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. No, I think you hit the nail on the head that, feedback is important. Otherwise, you repeat your mistakes, right? The one thing that
Mhm.
is true of English speakers in India is that they have learned English by listening and by reading, right? That's what they
Mhm.
have access to. There is very less access to an environment where everyone is speaking, right? So when you're
Mhm.
listening and when you're reading, you have learned some things, etc. But when you try to create your own language, you try to create your own sentences, there are things that you're going wrong with. And we see this, very clearly. If you talk to someone for 5-10 minutes, you can get a sense of where their mistakes are. And everybody's mistakes are different. So some people will say, I sit on chair. They will not say I sit on a chair or I sit on the chair. They'll
Mhm.
say I sit on chair.
Mhm.
They say I go Bombay, right? Or there are these things of how you translate from Hindi to English, right? Like Hindi में आप बोलोगे मैं बॉम्बे जा रहा हूँ, right? But
Mhm.
English में it's not I go Bombay, it is I go to Bombay, right? So there are
Mhm.
these specific types of mistakes people have, and when they don't get feedback, they don't know that they're doing something wrong, right? So they keep making the same
Exactly.
mistake over and over again. In fact, if they talk to someone like some of these groups, right? Like there are Telegram groups, WhatsApp groups, etc. Right? They find people who are also struggling. So there are two people who are not
Mhm.
very good at English, and they're trying to talk to each other. That is also helpful. I think you should do it. But the thing is that you are picking up their mistakes also sometimes. Learn from them and you learn the wrong thing that they are doing. So feedback is of two types. Feedback is one by being told what you are doing wrong, and the other thing is you are using what someone else is saying as input. That's kind of like feedback, right? It's input for your own brain to understand sentence structures, to understand grammar, to understand vocabulary. If people say improvise instead of saying improve, I will improve myself, they'll say I will improvise myself. They're two different things. Improvise does not mean improve, but they've heard someone say
Mhm.
it, then someone else has also picked it up, then someone else has also picked it up. Suddenly you realize that everyone in the office is saying improvise instead of improve, right? So I think it's important to have feedback to correct those mistakes, and real time feedback I think is better than sort of trying to learn things later or learn things at a different time. So when I'm speaking, that time I need someone to tell me what I made a mistake in. Later, if 2 days later I'm learning some grammar rules, then it will not, my brain will not absorb it. So I think
Mhm.
feedback is important also in real time.
Exactly. It's very important then and there. So I have a question regarding this Sparky. How Sparky can help us in that way that we can get the
Yeah.
actually this improvement and get and we can overcome all the problems which we want
Yeah,
to.
yeah. So we'd already built it with Sparky, saying that if you say something wrong, Sparky corrects you and tells you, did you mean to say this? Or gently corrects you, right? It gives you ideas of what is a better way to say it. But now we have launched a even better feedback on every dialogue for the user. So whatever the user says, Sparky will also say something if they, has to be corrected, or if there are small mistakes. You can analyze everything that you say. Immediately, it tells you what mistakes you made. So suppose you said like didn't knew is a mistake. It will show you that in this
Mhm.
sentence, it will underline the didn't knew. It will tell you instead of didn't knew, you have to use didn't know. And it will rephrase the whole sentence, make it whatever you said, it will correct that sentence and show you the corrected version. And then you can practice the corrected version, right? So it tells you the right way to say it, and it also tells you which mistake you made where in the sentence. So I think that's super helpful for users to immediately understand ki where I went wrong. And then in the background, what Sparky does is if you make the same mistake again and again, then Sparky sort of understands that about you, and it will give you a corrective exercise just for you. You make this type of mistake, let's take that one particular thing and let's practice that repeatedly. Let's do a little deep correction of that so that it gets corrected for you. So it does both things. It does real-time feedback, and over time it sort of figures out what your problem is and then give you corrective exercises for that specific problem.
Yeah, that's a great solution, of course. So yes, I want you to, Anushree, show me the video of this Sparky, how Sparky works, and
Yeah.
how it is able to help the learner.
Yeah, yeah. So we'll see a quick dialogue with Sparky, and then you'll also see how, Sparky gives real-time feedback.
Yeah, okay, sure.
Receivable in the healthcare industry.
Because accounts receivable job role, main job role is speaking English in American style. Can you speak like a American style in English, you?
Let's correct that, Leo. Try, the main role in accounts receivable is speaking English in an American style. Can you speak English like an American? Ready for a mock interview?
So, okay, Anushree, now the question goes to you. It is, I want to relate to your, like, your personal things, that how you picked the language, and did you have that privilege to get people who were able to correct you, or like, how was that in your time when
Yeah.
you were working on the language and you were trying to become better as a speaker?
Yeah, yeah. So I think I come from a small town. Some people in my family spoke some English, so there was exposure to it. But in my school in the small town, it's not like we didn't speak to each other in English, or teachers used to speak in English, but we were not so used to speaking in English. But then I went to a boarding school. In class seventh, I went to a boarding school, and in my boarding school, all the students, they were from all over the country, and it was a sort of more premium crowd than my small town crowd. Everyone used to speak in English all the time. So initially when I
Okay.
went, I was not used to it. Like, I could understand English, and I was good at English also, but I was not used to speaking in English all the time. It was not my first language. But then, being
Right.
in that environment where everyone is speaking in English all the time, I automatically became much more comfortable. And in fact, now I feel like I am more comfortable in English than I'm in Hindi. So I'm very good at both languages, but my first language has become English, where most of the time, even at work, etc., you talk in English, right? So you talk in English at work, you talk in English, like with my husband, I talk in English. So it's now become kind of my first language, but it that changed when I went to a boarding school, and there was an environment of everyone doing that around me. Till that environment is not there, it's a little harder. But yeah, I think when people want to learn and they don't have the environment, that's when these kind of solutions help them, like having Sparky or watching something or watching your channel working with you. Those are the types of things that can help them.
Yeah, exactly. You are absolutely right. For you, at least, you were fortunate enough to get some people in your school who were speaking. But for me, it was completely opposite. I did not get environment, but I created that artificial environment in COVID-19. I used
Hmm.
to listen to English content. I used to watch English videos. I used to talk with the people like in English as much as I can. That's how I learned. And the one funny thing I'm going to tell you about my time when I was studying. So we used to learn English words, not the way actually that they are pronounced, the way
Hmm.
they are written. So
Yeah.
we, like, if I would say tsunami, I think it was very confusing. I used to say T tsunami because if I would get right in the exam, I'm not going to make a mistake. Otherwise, I
Yeah.
would write Sunami. So I would write
Yes.
like T tsunami. I would just remember it. So I'm not going to make mistake in the exam. So that
Yeah.
is a big hurdle for the people to get the right pronunciation of the words, because the way I learned, that was more focused for writing, that I'm not going to make mistakes in exams like that. So but nowadays what is very
Yes.
important
Yes.
for me as a speaker, that is to focus on the pronunciation rather than focusing on the each alphabets of the word, right? Some are silent and some we the different ways of pronouncing it. So that's how it is. Some many things, details are there in the phonetics. So that's
Yeah.
what I learned by focusing in the language, by listening to it. And it's very, I think, good now. We have a lot of platforms like Sparky, and they can give every single kind of feedback and the solution, whatever we want. If we ask Sparky for this pronunciation, and if as I was watching a video, so Sparky is able to talk to you like an American, in or any other, whatever the system they have. It's better to take the benefits or talk to Sparky as much as we can, right? What
Yeah,
do you
yeah.
think?
Yeah, yeah. No, I agree. And I think, though I would not say ki you have to do different accents, right? Like if you just want to talk in an Indian accent and learn with that, that's enough. But if you would like to, like there are some people who are working abroad or who are studying abroad,
Mhm.
etc., and they need to get used to that accent, then it's very helpful for them. But it's not something that, everyone necessarily has to do. So you can feel free. If you're comfortable in Indian accent, use that on Sparky. That's totally fine.
Exactly. Accent is the very last thing for the language, which I always say. But
Hmm.
accent is something which is very much, I would say, the thing, interesting thing. If you're able to cross this intermediate level and you're on the advanced level, you can work on it. And many people
Yes.
have this need. They want to work in international BPO, so they need to have certain kind of like
Yes.
accent because they are
Yeah.
going to work in this American based companies and everything. And if they are
Mhm.
planning to go to America, they are planning to shift there, it is very important for them to have such kind of accent. Otherwise, people are going to judge you. That's what I have seen in many people tell also, that if
They
you
find it
sound a bit
difficult to
off.
understand, and
Mhm.
they find it difficult to understand you. It's not only judgment,
Yes.
but they can't understand your accent because it's different from
Mhm.
their accent.
Yes, exactly. For becoming an important person there in that environment, it is very important for you to have the particular and specific that accent, which is going to help you to get the good positions there. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's how it is. It is very important, and I feel like this is the one go solution of everything is like Sparky. Sparky can help us doing all those things at
Yeah.
the same time. Whatever we want, we can ask anything, right?
Yeah. No, we're very glad that this product is being found to be so helpful for so many users. So it's really it makes our job worthwhile.
Yeah, it does. So now another question goes to you. It is related to the somewhat technical, ma'am. Like it means I think at this moment also you must be trying to find the ways to make it much more better because to understand the problems of the students, and how
Yeah.
do you do that? Actually means talking to students, listening to their problems, and
Yeah.
observing all these things. And you have many educators in your Sparky team, as I
Yeah.
did conversation with Namita ma'am, and she's wonderful educator. So that's
Yeah.
how you are trying to find some more solutions for the people, right?
Yes, yes. So we talk to our users a lot, and if any of your viewers are, listening, please you can write to us at hello@sparkstudio.co. Even on our app, there are ways to give us feedback. You can give us reviews on Google Play Store. We look at all of this data that comes from users. We talk to users where we can. Sometimes we ask them for their phone numbers, and if they're willing to talk to us for 10 minutes, we love talking to users because it helps us understand who they are, what are their needs, how can we improve the platform. So this thing of accent, right? For example, earlier we did not have options. Then we heard
Mhm.
from users that they want an Indian accent, so we added an Indian accent. Then we heard from some users that Sparky is speaking too fast. They want Sparky to speak slowly. So then we added the feature where you can control the speed. You can make it fast, you can make it slow. Different
Mhm.
people like different things. Then we heard from people that they want to talk about certain types of topics. They want to learn certain types, like they
Mhm.
want to do interview practice, mock interview
Mhm.
practice, right? So then we introduce those kind of conversations. So it's really helpful for us to talk to users. We are able to create the product that will actually help them in their lives and suited to their needs.
Exactly. That's very important. What I see, every single student has a different need, and every single student wants to learn English in a different way, and they pick the language in a different way as well. Some people like talking about the topics, and I have got some students, they took session from me for whole month without choosing a single topic. And we
Hmm.
used to talk a lot of things randomly, many topics in a day. So that's how it is. So we
Yeah,
need to have all kind of, like I would say, the features so the learner can choose whatever they want according to their needs,
yeah,
right?
yes, yes.
Yes. So do you have any question for me at last?
No, I think maybe my question for you, Ashutosh, now is that your English is already very good. So I know you worked in COVID, and you made yourself the environment that could help you get here. But from here, do you feel like there is more that you have to do? There is advanced English that you're trying to learn. What are you trying to do from here for your own English?
Yeah, well, it's a wonderful question. What I feel, language is something which can take your whole life to become perfect. And to become a perfect in language, it takes a lot of time. I have completed 4 years. My fifth year is going on, but I'm trying to work on it as much as I can. So what I want and expect from myself, that is clarity of speech. I want to sound clear as much as I can. So people should not do like this. What are you saying? So
Yeah.
they should understand me whatever I'm trying to say. And second thing, I don't focus on the vocabulary, but at least I want to know the words, so it can be helpful whenever I'm talking to people from all around the world or on the just international basis. I can understand them. I want to sound easy and simple speaker as much as I can. So my goal is to talk with the people, build the confidence, and have the clarity and articulation, the way of presenting. I want to make it better. So, and I want to add a lot of good way of answers, adding the examples, analogies, and I will say a lot of experience that is going to help people understand, like a storytelling kind of thing. That's what I want from myself. And I have got friends from other countries. I have friends from USA, like Scotland. So nowadays I'm trying to interact with the native speakers as much as I can. And it is very helpful for me if they give me some personal time and I do one-on-one conversations. So that's
Okay.
how I'm able to upgrade my English at this moment as well.
Okay. Sounds awesome, Ashutosh. Very nice.
Okay, thank you. So thank you so much, Anushree ma'am. It was again really wonderful conversation with you. And I enjoyed throughout the conversation. It was very nice. And I would say the very important problem for the learners, which they want to know what is the solution. So it is going to help them because we talked about the solutions, how they can overcome all these problems. So that was very, very important topic to be discussed. And I'm so happy to discuss with you.
Thanks, Ashutosh. Thanks for having me.
Okay, bye bye. Take
Okay.
care.
Bye. Bye. See you.